Hi, everybody. This is the Political Woman podcast. I'm Gloria Moraga. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to my podcast. So a little bit of this and a little bit of that, mostly information about Harris and Trump. Looking at my website, gloriamoraga.com. And on the front page, I've got Presidential Election Day countdown to the vote. 19 days, 3 hours, 52 minutes, 33 seconds. And then next to that, I have the 10 California propositions, what your yes or no vote means. You can check that out if you live in California, and please share. From the Washington Post, Vice President Kamala Harris, under pressure to broaden her appeal to Republicans and conservatives, with Election Day fast approaching, sat for a contentious interview with Fox News, where she said more bluntly than ever before that her presidency would not be a continuation of Joe Biden's. That's the top paragraph on the Washington Post. What a bunch of hooey. What a bunch of hooey. Now, before that Fox interview, Harris had an event with more than 100 Republicans, and we're just not talking just average Joe Blow Republicans. They were big name Republicans, people who would never, during a normal election cycle, endorse a Democrat. So here's a quote from the Post. Early on Wednesday, Harris appeared with more than 100 Republicans who have endorsed her campaign. She was at an event in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, where she argued that Trump is not worthy of the support of Republicans who care about democracy. Hear, hear. Way to go. Noting that the former president at one point suggested terminating the Constitution as he falsely insisted he was winner of the 2020 election, Harris argued that a person who makes that threat should never stand behind the presidential seal. Here's a soundbite from Harris.
So I am joined today by over 100 Republican leaders from across Pennsylvania and across our country who are supporting my candidacy for President of the United States. And I am deeply honored to have their support. Some served in state houses, some in the United States Congress, some worked for other Republican presidents and presidential nominees, including Mitt Romney, John McCain, George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush, and Ronald Reagan. And some today served in Donald Trump's own administration. We also have with us Republican voters from here in Pennsylvania and beyond, who have been active in their Republican parties for years, who have supported Republican candidates up and down the ticket. Now, I say all that to make an obvious point. In a typical election year, you all being here with me might be a bit surprising, dare I say unusual. But not in this election. Not in this election. Because at stake in this race are the democratic ideals that our founders and generations of Americans before us have fought for. At stake in this election is the Constitution of the United States, its very self. We are here today because we share a core belief that we must put country before party.
And just as an aside, Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, who's just not even worth my breath, but he has said that Trump won the 2020 election. Because that's what's required. That's what's required if you want to be in Trump's good graces. I was listening to somebody as I was driving around in the car running errands. And someone said, yeah, you can do this, you can do that, you can be, flimsy here, flimsy there, flimsy on democracy. But if you want to be in Trump's main circle, you've got to admit, or you've got to say that he won in 2020. So just a little bit about the interview on Fox. I don't call it news, but Fox. Here's a quote from the New York Times. For a Democratic presidential candidate, appearing on Fox News is about as close as going into the lion's den as it gets. And that's from the Bible, in case you don't know. I mean, I don't blame you if you don't. Yeah, it's Daniel going into the lion's den. He walked in and he was blessed by God, so the lions did not attack him. Great picture. I remember it from Catechism Sunday School. On Wednesday, the Post continues, quote, the lion was Mr. Bear, Brett Baer, who repeatedly interrupted the vice president and tried to talk over her. The vice president, giving her first interview on Fox in an attempt to reach millions of voters because they're the most watched news cable show, cable network, Fox Entertainment, giving her first interview on Fox in an attempt to reach millions of voters, especially conservative women, who have probably not heard much of her message. And shame on them. Shame on you. I'm sure you're not listening to me either. Largely steered the conversation in her preferred direction. So she was pretty good at steering the conversation in her own direction. But he kept talking over her. He kept interrupting her. He wouldn't let her speak. And then I'm watching MSNBC, and then I'm watching CNN talk about this, and nobody mentioned that. It was all just, it was a wash. People who don't like her aren't going to change their mind. Even Geraldo Rivera said that, even. And he's endorsed her. Not that I'm sorry I even mentioned his name. He's like the worst. He's he's not even a journalist. He's another, I don't know what he is, frankly. Tried to be an entertainer, but failed at that because he's not entertaining at all. He's just another traitor. So, yeah. Harris, I guess wanted to be there to talk about abortion and women's rights to privacy and reproductive freedom, which we no longer have. So, according to the New York Times, they did a story called 6 Takeaways from the Interview. Here's a little bit of that. She broke with Biden a little. So the interview was mostly about immigration. Harris held her own. She did bring up the Trump killing the border bill. I don't know why people don't see that he did that and that's a big deal and they need him to shut up about the border. Because he killed it. So I mentioned he kept talking over her and not letting her finish. And at one point, she said, "You have to let me finish, please. I'm in the middle of responding to the point you're raising. I would like to finish." And there was a back and forth that Hillary Clinton did with somebody in 2016. And that interviewer, it was Matt Lauer, was criticized for being sexist because he kept interrupting Hillary Clinton. Is that going to happen today? Probably not. Nobody seems to mention it anywhere that I'm looking. They didn't mention it on the TV, on the mainstream media television shows, which really infuriates me. Yeah, no one's going to mention it. You know why? Because we're treated like dirt in this country now. Ugh. At one point, Bear says, we're talking over each other. And he said this right before it ended. Because he did it throughout the whole damn interview. And then he said, I apologize. Oh, big deal. You did it through the whole time. You apologize at the end. Sounds like my ex-husband. Yeah, he do these horrible things and then he was, want to make up. And it's like, go away. Go away. You just never make up. It's like, oh, God, Lord. Same thing. Same thing. So, yeah. If women Republicans don't know Kamala Harris, it's on them. It's their fault. I'm going to blame them. Okay? There's all this stuff about let's blame black men because black men don't like Kamala Harris. How about we blame the majority of the people in this country if Trump wins? We can blame women. It's our fault. And I'm not even a white woman. But I'm smart. And I know he's not the one we should be voting for. I'll have more on that in a minute. Yes, this podcast is about Harris and it's about Trump and how they're spending their time. So we started with Harris with Republicans. Then she did this. And we're going to move to Trump. So Trump's day, he did two things. He talked to Hispanic voters. And he also had a freaking phony baloney. They called it a town hall, but my friends, it is not a town hall, okay? And they advertised it. He and his network, the Fox Entertainment Network, advertised it as all women. Trump faces all women. And yeah, apparently he does. He is suffering in the polls. I saw this soundbite on one of the stations, and it said, it's record early turnout in some places. And the reporter asked the woman, why are you out here, early? And she said, because Trump told me to come out here. And I put my hand over my face and, it's the two-handed thing on the face, which is like really bad because your hands are dirty and you shouldn't touch your face with your dirty hands. I'm out here voting because Trump told me to come out and vote early. What the hell? Sister, you're the ones that give us, it's like it's sisters like you that give us a bad name. Yeah, I blame you. I blame you if this guy wins again and we lose our democracy. I blame you. You can't read a little? You got to just get your information from Fox News? You can't read other opinions, other viewpoints so you can be smarter? You don't have to agree with them. You just need to read them. And you know what else? I'm going to say this right now, too. Everybody who gets their news from Twitter, you should be horsewhipped. Because he's giving all these millions of dollars to Trump. Millions and millions of dollars. And those of you who are still on Twitter, I'm talking to all y'all. Still on Twitter? You're paying for Trump to beat Harris. So, congratulations. Congratulations. All right, so Bet Bear apologizes after he interrupts her the whole time. I'm not going to even go any more into that. From the New York Times, Trump faces tough questions from Hispanic voters, but largely defends and dodges. In a town hall that Univision broadcast on Wednesday night, Donald J. Trump did not directly answer many frank questions on climate change, immigration, abortion rights, and other topics. Tell us something new. He never answers any questions. Have you noticed that? He doesn't, as Harris says, he doesn't have any plans. All these dudes that were on my live shot the other day on TikTok were going on and on about how great Trump is. And it's like, they're wrong. You're wrong, you guys. You're wrong. I try to be polite on Twitter. I try to leave myself open to talk to the MAGAs. But they don't. they're not smart. They're not smart. If you support Trump, you're not smart. That's it. End of discussion. So here's a quote from the Times. Quote, Mr. Gonzalez, a 56-year-old, a self-described Republican, said he was alarmed when a mob of Mr. Trump supporters stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021. He did not like Trump's leadership during the coronavirus pandemic, and he was dismayed by the chorus of former Trump administration officials who no longer support Trump. Quote from Mr. Gonzalez, I want to give you the opportunity to try to win back my vote, Mr. Gonzalez of Tampa, Florida said. Mr. Trump declined to take it. Yeah, because Trump doesn't give a damn about Mr. Gonzalez. Instead, this is going on from the article, instead, Trump defended his actions on January 6th, offering a picture often at odds with reality. No duh. He insisted the crowds came to Washington. They didn't come because of me. They came because of the election. Ignoring his own role in stoking election denialism. And he added, some of these people went down to the Capitol, I said, peacefully and patriotically. No, he said, fight like hell or you're not going to have a country anymore. Nothing done wrong at all. Nothing done wrong. This is Trump speaking. And then he always says, nobody died except for that one woman. Bullshit. Officers were hurt. An officer may have died later. I hear the right-wingers, the MAGAs people always say, oh, nobody died. Cops were hurt, were seriously hurt. And cops committed suicide because of the trauma. Oh, you don't think that counts? Well, you're wrong. Then Trump, in this exchange with Mr. Gonzalez, criticized Biden. He pivoted to the border. And then he said to Mr. Gonzalez, maybe we'll get your vote, he said. Sounds like maybe I won't, but that's okay too. Because he doesn't care. He doesn't care about Hispanic people. He doesn't care about Latin people. He doesn't care. He's constantly saying, like, the Nikki Haley voters, we don't need you. We don't need your vote. He's just going to have that, like that woman. I'm here because of Mr. Trump. That's why I came out early. Yeah, she looks like she hasn't read a book in her life. I don't know how she got through school. Maybe she didn't. I mean, honestly, I don't want to be mean, but they're not smart, these people who like him. Trump, is all about immigration, right? According to this article, according to the reporters who were at the Latino town hall thing, quote, in front of an audience of about 100 Latino voters, Trump did not once mention his pledge to undertake the largest deportation operation in American history. And of course, they don't know about it because nobody's told them about it. Because Trump didn't mention it and Fox News doesn't mention it. They don't get their news from anywhere else. Nobody asked him about that. He was vague about his policy plans during this Latino thing. All right, the phony baloney women's town hall. This is from the New York Times. The former president was unpersuasive on abortion, childcare, and other issues that matter to women. Yeah, because he doesn't care about us either. One article, it was a commentary in one of the papers, said, how stupid do you think I am? Because the audience of women they were all Trump supporters. There was not one, bra-burning woman in there. They were all Trump. I came early because Trump told me to, women. I think the questions were given to them as well. But at that event, that phony event with women, I'm ashamed of my sisters, Trump called himself the father of IVF, in vitro fertilization. And that is a damn lie. Now, Republicans want to outlaw IVF. Know it. Take it to the bank. Take it to the bank. You know why? Do you want to really know why? Because gay couples use IVF. They're such haters. They're such haters. And even after the hurricane and everything that's going on down in Florida, DeSantis is renewing his woke attacks. Unbelievable. From the LA Times, great piece. It says, it's a column. And the headline is, I'm also sick of discussing Trump's madness, but we have to. That's the name of her article. It was written by Lorraine Alley. She's a news and culture critic, Los Angeles Times. And I'll start, I know we've talked about this already, but I'll just start with her first paragraph just to get into it. Donald Trump's cognitive decline has a soundtrack. It includes The Village People's YMCA, Guns N' Roses' November Rain, and Elvis Presley's An American Trilogy. Don't try to find a theme among the musical numbers. There isn't one. So I'm going to skip the rest of what she says about the dance party Trump had with himself the other day. But his handlers called it a love fest. So I'll go back to the article. Quote, as other columnists and political reporters have pointed out, we're running out of ways to describe the Mad King slippage of Trump. And we shouldn't have to at this point. And that's what really gets me here. Why does everybody keep making excuses for him? You know, about Harris, everyone has all these criticisms. Oh, we don't know her enough. Oh, she reads from the prompter. Oh, she doesn't read from the prompter. Oh, she's just, hanging out with podcasters. Oh, she's only with nice, podcasters who have millions of listeners, but oh no, they don't count because, they're too nice to her. Like the woman podcaster that has 50 million subscribers and the other dude who likes her. Yeah. Everything that she does is criticized by the mainstream media. Everything. She's not good enough. She's not this. She's just Biden. She's not the future. She's not, they just pick her apart. What about this dude? What about the Mad King? All right, back to the article. Quote, the proof is in countless hours of MAGA rally footage, radio and podcast appearances of Trump, and reams of his own musings across social media. There's no shortage of accessible documentation showing the 78-year-old slide from unpredictable to perilously incoherent. But believing what's right in front of our eyes is not enough, since U.S. politics has usually begun with flirting with fascism, making reality a subjective thought experiment from which we can pick and choose our preferred truths. And now, here we are, less than 3 weeks out from what's predicted to be one of the closest elections ever, watching one of the candidates melt down to non-functional levels. I get it. I'd rather be writing about anything else at this point because I'm also sick of hearing about Trump's unhinged behavior. But to ignore his decline is like failing to send out storm warnings or wildfire alerts. But this impending national disaster is the man-made sort. Yeah, Republicans did this, okay? And women. That woman who's voted early because Trump told her to. All right, quote, Trump did use his words Tuesday in a one-on-one interview with Bloomberg News editor-in-chief John Micklethwait. You know, he's this real, he looks like a smart dude in a suit with an accent, with a British accent, very upper class. I'll go on, she writes. But given the general incoherence of his answers, he may as well have been shuffling around aimlessly to Pavarotti's version of Schubert's Ave Maria. They played it twice at the town hall. All right, so I went back and I listened to the full Trump interview with this dude, and it's awful. He never answers one question. At one point, this dude, John Micklethwait, asks him about the Federal Reserve. You know what Trump answered? He talked on and on about the Supreme Court and how he got to appoint 3 people to the Supreme Court. Yeah, thanks to Mitch McConnell. And then he said really nasty, Barack Hussein Obama didn't get to appoint, they blocked all his judges because he's just unlucky. No, he wasn't unlucky. It was a plot by Republicans who've created this mess. I used to like Republicans. So yeah, so he's going on and on after the Federal Reserve, and then I'm going to pick up, let's get to the Google question. So here's a soundbite. Take a listen.
So most presidents don't even get to put a Supreme Court judge in because there's 9. And, they're there for a long time. Most of them are there for a very long time. And I got 3, which is a very unusual situation. I got 3 in 4 years.
Maybe we can change the subject to technology, seeing you wouldn't answer about the Federal Reserve. The U.S. Justice Department is thinking about breaking up Alphabet, as Google likes to be known now. Should Google be broken up?
I just haven't gotten over something the Justice Department did yesterday, where Virginia cleaned up its voter rolls and got rid of thousands and thousands of bad votes, and the Justice Department sued them that they should be allowed to put those bad votes and illegal votes back in and let the people vote. So I haven't gotten over that. A lot of people have seen that. They can't even believe it.
The question is about Google, President Trump.
Yeah, look, Google's got a lot of power. They're very bad to me, very, very bad to me. I mean, I can speak from that standpoint. They only have bad stories. In other words, if I have 20 good stories and 20 bad stories.
The question was about Google, President Trump. And then Trump says, you've got to be able to finish a thought because it's very important. This is big stuff. Big stuff? To start talking about a judge's ruling on the illegal doings down in Georgia? Yeah, a judge stopped those MAGA Trump people in Georgia from putting all these rules into the election at the last minute. Have to do a by hand vote count. Freaking illegal. So a judge stopped it. That's what Trump was talking about there. But the question wasn't about that. The question was about Google. Then the dude says, you've gone from the dollar to Macron, which is the French president. And Trump says, it's called the weave. It's all these different things happening. No, you know what? When you weave a story, it's something good, like poets do. It's not what Trump is doing. What Trump is doing is he's on the throes of some sort of either a breakdown or it's Alzheimer's or something like that. It's like old age. And everybody pointed it out all the time because Joe Biden had a stutter. Joe Biden had a bad foot. They pointed it out all the time. Trump's pooping in his pants. Maybe that's why they were pooping on the Capitol floors during January 6th. The dude's not good. He's not fit to be president. He calls Kamala Harris names. He's caused terrible problems for people in the hurricane areas by lying. All his minions don't correct his lies. They don't care about people. He's done it to Colorado. He's done it to Ohio with the eating. He blurted it out. They're eating pets. They're eating cats and dogs. I mean, Harris kind of laughed, but then it's just like, and then she got serious, and it's like, my God. He's not fit, you guys. And I don't understand why according to the phony polls, which I don't believe either, it's a toss-up. All right. I'm Gloria Moraga. This is the Political Woman Podcast. I'm telling you right now, have a plan. Please have a plan and vote. If you can vote early, don't do it because Trump told you to. Do it because it's important for democracy. It's important for all the different reasons we need to not have Donald Trump become president again. He's a criminal. Oh, yeah, there's some Stormy Daniels news, too. Rachel Maddow had it. How they've tried to pay off Stormy Daniels again. Do you believe it? So she apparently owed Trump money from, I don't know, she sued him, then he sued her, and then he countersued, and then she lost. So she owed him some money for, I don't know, something. And they said that they would cut her a deal if she would sign another non-disclosure agreement and not talk about Trump anymore. And then now the Trump campaign is saying it's because they were hacked by Iran. And all this information comes from the lawyers, from Stormy Daniels' attorney, not from Iran. So that story's going to be hitting today, tomorrow, soon. I'm Gloria Moraga, Political Woman. Please subscribe. Please share. Please follow me here, there, and everywhere. I need your support. Vote. Have a plan. Please vote. If you have any questions, send me a message on one of my pages. And please be safe.